Mic check. Mic check. Mic check. Mic check. Mic. Mic check. Mic check. 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 Mic check. Mic check. Mic check. Mic check. Mic check. 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 Mic check. Mic check. Hello. Hello. Mic check. Mic check. 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 Mic check. Check. Mic check. Check. Mic check. Mic check. 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 Mic check. Mic check. Mic check. Attention drivers. If you have a buy run, please get in line to get ready to do your buy runs. That would be Brian Martin, Corey Rook, Cody Lucas, Cameron Downard, John Corber. Please get ready to do your buy runs. Thank you. All right, everybody. It is time to kick off round 4 of our Slideways Showdown drift competition. This will be the final round. The points are real close. Got a lot of close contenders coming up here today. Due to a lack of drivers this round, we will have to get through a few buy runs in our top 16 battle. Not a big deal. A couple practice laps for these guys. Brian Martin, you may make your way out to the track. Brian, give me a thumbs up out the window if you can hear me. All right, everybody, we're going to start this comp off. We're going to send Brian out for his first buy run. 3, 2, 1, go. Brian Martin showing us a very textbook run on what the judges are looking for your line. We can go ahead and send Corey Rook out for his buy run now. Corey Rook, you're being summoned. Corey Rook. All right, while we wait for Corey Rook to pull up to the line, we'll go ahead and send Cody Lucas out for his buy run. Cody Lucas out for his buy run. Excellent buy run. Pretty textbook. We're going to go ahead and send Corey Rook out for his buy run now. Seems like he was having some car issues. Looks like he might be borrowing another car. See how he does. Just give us a few seconds here. We're changing the batteries in one of our drones, and then we can send Corey. Or just send Corey. Corey's doing his first buy run. No drone footage for him. Womp womp. All right, Cameron Downard, come out for your buy run. Cameron Downard. All right, go ahead and send Cameron out. All righty, now for our final buy run, we're going to send out John Korber. And I need Eric Dryden and Derek Drzlinski to get ready to go out for your battle. Derek and Eric. John Corbett laying down an excellent run in his Turbo 4.6 Mustang. All righty. Now for our first official battle of the day, we got Eric Dryden and Derek Drzlinski. Go ahead and send them out. I tell you what, folks, it's not every day you're going to see a Subaru Outback in a drift competition. I'd get your phones out for this one. Going to make for a very, very interesting run. I was watching this guy earlier, and I tell you what, he can really drive that thing. We'll see what he has up against this swapped E36. Has a potential of making 600 horsepower. Going to be a very interesting and entertaining battle for sure. All right, so we got Eric in the lead, Derek in the chase in the Outback. Eric coming into the first outer zone. Derek in the Outback doing a pretty good job at keeping up. Not letting him get away at all. Look at that Subaru go. Eric doing a nice job filling outer zone. Subaru not far behind him at all. Coming around into the keyhole for our final touch and go. Subaru straightens out a little bit. Pretty good run from both of these guys, given the circumstances. Now we're going to switch them up. We're going to have Derek in the Outback lay down a nice lead line for Eric, who's going to be chasing now. All right, now we have the Outback up front. Eric behind him. Subaru coming into the first outer zone, filling it pretty good. Wow, Subaru riding that wall well. Kind of putting a gap between him and Eric a little bit. Hitting the Manji, coming around into the outer zone too. Eric kind of struggling to keep up with the Subaru a little bit. Subaru filled that zone very nice, coming into the keyhole. Subaru's laying down a very nice lead lap for Eric. Coming around the last final touch and go. Wow, what a great performance from the guy in the Subaru. Just a reminder, drivers, after your battle, make sure you stay on track so that we can determine a winner, please, and thank you. Judges are deliberating. All right, so we have a decision, and Eric Dryden will be moving on in the top 8. Derek with a very nice run, but unfortunately in his chase, he did straighten twice, which would be considered an incomplete run. All right, everybody, this is going to be one for the books right here. We have a call out. Jerry himself with Race Lab Industries calling out Theon Nelson, one of our top 3 point standings right now. Jerry in his K-swapped R32 sedan and Theon in a turbo 370Z. These dudes are going to hash it out. We're just going to wait a few seconds to get the drone battery out, and we'll be good to send them. Just a few seconds. All right, drivers, get ready. We're going to send you. We have Theon in the lead, Jerry in the chase. Theon's going to initiate into the first outer zone. Jerry is not going to give him any room at all. Filling the zones very nicely. Coming into the Painesville Speedway Manji. Oh, Jerry taking off his bumper, staying in it. Coming up to outer zone 2. Theon doing an excellent job. Jerry right back on his door like nothing happened. Coming into the keyhole, Jerry. Oh, my goodness, what an amazing. Oh, Jerry with the doors. Keeping it to Theon, staying in drift. What a show. Great run from both of these guys. Jerry's throwing bumpers. Theon's dragging bumper on wall. We're going to switch them up now. We're going to put Jerry in the lead, Theon's in the chase. All right, switching these two around, we got Jerry in the lead, Theon in the chase. Theon not giving Jerry any room at all. He's out for blood. Jerry coming up into outer zone 1, doing a very good job. Theon absolutely dooring him through outer zone 1. Coming into the Manji, Jerry doing a great job setting himself up for outer zone 2. Theon got a few car gaps, going to make up that room very quickly. Jerry coming into the keyhole, Theon right behind him. Theon doing a great job being right on his door where he needs to be. Excellent run from these two. All right, we had a great battle between these two. Jerry calling out Theon, Theon calling out Jerry. Who's going to take it? The judge's decision is in, and Theon Nelson gets the win over Jerry from Race Lab. Theon Nelson. Great run from these two. Jerry did an excellent job. Theon just a little bit better. All right, we need Thomas Cavill and Eric Yeager. Looks like they're ready. We can go ahead and get these boys out on track, warm your tires up, do what you got to do. We also need Brian Martin and Corey Rook to get ready to be sent out for the first top 8 battle. All right, everybody, we got Thomas in the E36 going to start us off in the lead. We got Eric Yeager in the Ford Mustang following right behind him. Thomas initiating into outer zone 1. Oh, goes into the wall. Thomas, he stays in it. Oh, no, that's going to be it. And right off the track he goes. We got to figure out real quick what's going on with Thomas. I think he might be bound out. We're going to figure out first. He does have a 6-minute comp timeout if he wants to take it. Give us 1 second here. Bryce, will you get on the go-kart and go check to make sure there's no carnage in outer zone 1, please? Thank you. Thomas, I see you. Can you give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down? X. X marks the spot. Once Bryce gets off the track, then Eric to declare his victory. Just give us a few seconds here to make sure there's no debate on the track. That's good. Thank you. That's good. Yep. Perfect. Great run there from Eric, going to secure him the win. We will be moving on to our top 8. So now we are in our top 8 bracket. Our first battle is going to be Brian Martin versus Corey Rook. We can send these guys out, get their tires warmed up, get ready to battle. I'm going to need Cody Lucas and Cameron Downer to be ready to be sent out after them. Looks like they are. And then we have John Korber versus Eric Dryden. If you guys can get lined up behind Cam and Cody, that would be great. And then our final battle for top 8 will be Theon Nelson versus Eric Yeager. All right, everybody, we're going to have Brian Martin in the lead, Corey Rook in the chase. Brian Martin in the 370Z coming up, initiating into the first outer zone. Does a great job getting into it, does a great job filling the zone. Corey not too far behind him, doing a pretty good job in the chase. Coming around the Manji, setting up for outer zone 2. Brian Martin doing an excellent job. Corey Rook not giving him any space, doing a great job in that borrow car. Coming into the keyhole, out around our last touch and go. Brian Martin does a fantastic job. Corey Rook right behind him. Great run from these guys. All right, we're going to switch them around. Corey up front in that borrowed car. Brian behind him in the 370Z. Initiating in outer zone 1. Brian not giving any room at all. Corey doing a good job coming around the bank, going into the Manji. Brian, he's leading the points right now. There's a lot on the line for Brian, and he's showing it. Corey Rook doing a great job filling outer zone 2. Excellent job coming into the keyhole. Brian not giving any room. Corey doing a good job coming around. Brian absolutely dooring him. Great run from these guys here. All right, the judge's decision is in. And Brian Martin going to move on to top 4. That was a great run from Corey Rook in a car that is not his. That was excellent driving by Corey. Proximity is what won it for Brian. He just absolutely doored Corey around the entire course. All right, our next battle, we got Cody Lucas versus Cam Downard. I tell you what, guys, this is going to be the battle of the 370Zs today. All right, we're going to have Cody Lucas in the lead, Cam in the chase for our first battle. Cody Lucas initiating, doing a great job into outer zone 1. Cam doing a good job with his proximity, staying right behind him, going through the Manji, getting ready to set up for outer zone 2. Cam losing a little bit of proximity. Brian straightened a little bit, but he's filling that zone very well. Cam needs to squeeze that gap in a little bit closer as they come into the keyhole here. Brian and Cam doing an excellent job coming around into the final touch and go. Every time I said Brian, I meant Cody. All right, we're going to switch these guys around. Cam's going to lead. Cody is going to chase. Cam initiating into outer zone 1. Could be a little deeper. Cody's proximity pretty all right coming into the Manji. Oh, Cam. Cam doing a good job coming through. Cody getting a little squiggly off that Manji in outer zone 2. Cam coming around into the last keyhole touch and go. Dooring each other, doing a pretty good job. Judges are still making their final decisions. Give us a second here. All right, the judge's decision is in. And Cody Lucas is going to get the win and move on to top 4. Cody Lucas. Just in case anybody was curious, we are streaming this on YouTube, the YouTube channel Drift Clips. Share it with your friends, send it to your brother, your sister, your mother. The more views, the better. All right, so we're going to get into our next top 8 battle. John Corber and his Turbo 4.6 Mustang versus Eric Dryden in the E36 convertible. All right, we got John Corber in the lead in his Mustang. Eric behind him in the E36. John initiating into the first outer zone. Doing a good job riding that wall. Eric straight and immediately pulls off track. I wonder what happened there. We're going to watch John finish out this run. Filling outer zone 2 very well. Doing a good job coming down into the keyhole. Transitioning around for our last touch and go. Great run here by John Corber. All right, we got John pulling up to the line. We're going to wait to see what's going on with Eric, if he's going to take a comp timeout or if he is bowing out. Unfortunately, it sounds like Eric might have broken something in the rear end, which is going to knock him out. We are going to send John Corber for his final buy run after this media person crosses the track. We don't need anybody getting hit. All right. Go ahead and send John for his buy run. John getting a little spicy out there. Maxed the angle out on that thing for sure. Tried to hold it, but he didn't. But that is okay because he will be moving on to our top 4. Our next battle is going to be Theon Nelson and Eric Yeager. We can go ahead and send them out on track, get their tires warmed up. And we're going to have Theon in the lead, Eric in the chase. All right, just give us one moment here. We're changing out the batteries on our drone. All right, our last battle of the top 8. Whoever wins this is going to be our final contestant in the top 4. Theon transitioning into outer zone 1. Eric doing a good job with the proximity with Theon, keeping up with that Turbo 370Z as they get ready to set up for outer zone 2. Theon, as always, doing an excellent job filling the zones. Eric, a little shallow, but doing a good job keeping that proximity well as they come in here through the keyhole. Coming into our final touch and go. Eric doing a great job staying on Theon. Good run from these guys. And I tell you what, Eric told me he didn't feel too comfortable today, but he is out there ripping. Great chase run from Eric, but you can only get a good chase with a good lead from Theon. We're going to switch these guys around now. Eric's going to lead. Theon's going to chase. All right, Eric up front, getting ready to initiate into the first outer zone. Theon right behind him. Eric doing a great job filling that first outer zone. Theon right behind him as they come into the Manji, getting ready to set up for outer zone 2. Eric doing a great job in outer zone 2. Theon closing that gap as he comes around that second outer zone into the keyhole. Eric in the Mustang, I tell you what, he's laying down a real good lead run, coming out real wide. Oh, maybe a little wall tap, not sure. Great run from both of these boys. The judge's decision is in. And we are going to send these boys one more time. These guys both had great leads, great chases, few mistakes from both of them that cancel each other out. We're going to do a one more time battle between these two. So while we wait for Theon and Eric to prepare themselves for the next battle, we are going to send out our first top 4 battle. We got Brian Martin and Cody Lucas. Now, these guys are always hashing it out together in this competition. They always put on a good show for everybody. This is going to be a great one to watch, and whoever wins this is going to go into our final of round 4. All right, we're sending them off. Brian in the lead, Cody in the chase. Brian initiating into outer zone 1. Cody right behind him, right on his door. Brian doing a good job filling the outer zone as they come through the Manji to set up for outer zone 2. Cody's losing a little bit of proximity, but he'll fix that coming into outer zone 2. Brian doing a great job in that lead on outer zone 2 as they come into the keyhole. Cody not giving Brian any room, really, coming into the keyhole. Doing a great job in our final touch and go. We're going to switch these boys around. We're going to put Cody up front, Brian in the chase. Brian doing some typical Nissan stuff here, taking a little cool down lap real quick. Them VQs, man, they get hot. All right, we send these guys out. We got Cody up front, Brian in the chase. Cody initiating in the first outer zone 1. Absolutely riding that wall. Excellent initiation from Cody. Brian right there with him as they come through the Manji transition to set up for outer zone 2. Cody doing a good job filling it. Brian, proximity is pretty good. Needs to match angle a little bit better. As Cody comes around keyhole, Brian absolutely giving it to him as they come around tire to tire contact. Great job from these guys. All right, and as the judges deliberate, can we get Theon Nelson and Eric Yeager up to the line to get ready to do their one more time battle? All right, after a tough decision here, Brian Martin versus Cody Lucas. We are going to send these boys one more time. I know everybody loves to see a good 370Z versus 370Z action. Both of these guys laid down great runs. We just would like to see a couple more things cleaned up a little bit better. We got word that Theon Nelson is taking a timeout. Therefore, we're going to take a quick 5-ish minute break. Let these guys get ready for the next set of battles. All right, everybody, who's ready to see some awesome battles? Theon Nelson making it just in time on his comp timeout. He's pulling back up to the line so we can send Theon and Eric out, get their tires warmed up on their one more time battle to determine who's going to go up against John Korber in the top 4. Go ahead and send these guys out, get their tires warmed up, and up to the line. All right, we got Theon and Eric going out for their one more time battle. We got Theon in the lead, Eric behind him in that red SN95 Mustang. Theon filling the zone pretty well. Eric kind of trailing behind Theon a little bit, getting set up for outer zone 2. Theon a little shallow on the bank there. Eric needs to close his proximity up a little bit. Wondering if something's going on with Theon's car. Still laying down a pretty decent lead line coming up. Oh, kind of straightens a little bit, which doesn't give Eric much room really to get into that pocket. This is going to be an interesting situation here as we switch these boys around. We're going to put Eric up front and Theon in the chase. All right, we're switching these boys around. Eric in the lead, Theon in the chase. Eric initiating into first outer zone. Absolutely throwing it into that first outer zone. Coming out a little shallow, kind of throwing Theon off course there. Eric coming into the Manji, setting himself for outer zone 2. Coming up onto the bank. Theon straightening it up a little bit. Theon seems to be having car troubles as all Eric has to do is finish out this track in his lead run. And he might have a shot here as they come around the final touch and go. Eric doing a good job coming up on the wall. All right, the judges have made their decision. It was a great battle between these two. Going into the top 4 up against John Corber is Eric Yeager in the red SN95 Mustang. Seems like Theon was having some car troubles. So Eric Yeager going to go into our top 4 with John Corber. Big upset for Theon Nelson here. Eric just showing everybody how happy he is to be able to make it in the top 4. All right, so now we're going to get back to our one more time battle with Brian Martin and Cody Lucas. 370Z versus 370Z. Our first battle of the top 4. Coming off of a one more time. Going to send these boys out on track, get their tires warmed up. Get ready to run it. All right, we're going to have Brian in the lead, Cody in the chase of our first battle for top 4. Brian in the black 370Z, Cody in the silver 370Z. Just changing out drone batteries real quick. All right, we got Brian Martin in the lead, Cody in the chase. 370Z versus 370Z. Brian Martin initiating into the first outer zone. Doing a great job filling that zone. Cody, proximity could be a little better coming through that zone as they go through the Manji to set up for outer zone 2. Cody, close that gap. Pushing up against Brian. Brian doing a great job filling outer zone 2. Oh, Cody gets a little off track here, losing a little bit of ground as Brian comes around our last keyhole into the touch and go. Great lead here from Brian. Good run from Cody. This is exactly what we wanted to see. Got to take our traditional Nissan 370Z cool down lap. These things out here running hot. Cool day, but you got a Nissan problems running hot. All right, switching these guys around. Cody in the lead, Brian in the chase. Cody initiating into first outer zone. Brian right there with him. Cody doing a good job filling that zone, but Brian is not giving him any room at all as they come through the Manji, setting up for outer zone 2. Brian doing a great job in the chase. Cody, excellent job filling outer zone 2. Brian absolutely giving it to him as he comes through the keyhole here. Coming around into our final touch and go. Brian not giving any room at all. Great run, boys. The judge's decision is in. And Brian Martin going to be going to the final. The black 370Z, Brian Martin. Slideways Showdown staff, we need a walkie-talkie battery up here in the booth. If we can make that happen, our battery is dead in our walkie-talkie. Let us know. All right, so Brian Martin moving on to the finals. We got John Corber. We got SN95 on SN95 action here. We just had 370Z versus 370Z. Which one is going to come out as a superior chassis? All right, our second Final Four battle. SN95 versus SN95. One of them's turbocharged. One of them's naturally aspirated. Which one's going to come out on top? We got John Corber in the black SN95. And we got Eric Yeager, who was not very confident coming into this competition. And here he is going into the final four, absolutely doing a great job out here. We're going to have John Corber lead, Eric in the chase for our first run. Just switching out drone batteries real quick. Give us 1 second here. All right, our first part of the battle. John up front, Eric in the chase. John initiating in the first outer zone. Eric right behind him. John a little late to get into the first outer zone, maybe not feeling it all too much, while Eric is right there behind him, going through the Manji, setting up for outer zone 2. Eric doing a pretty good job with proximity, needs to close it up coming into outer zone 2. John doing a pretty decent job coming into outer zone. Eric not giving John any room at all. Coming in through the keyhole as they come around for our final touch and go. Battle of the Mustangs, SN95 versus SN95. Good run, boys. John Corber thinking his car's a Nissan 370Z, taking a cool down lap here real quick. We're going to switch the boys around. We're going to have Eric in the lead, John in the chase. All right, we're sending these boys for the second part of the battle here. Eric in the lead, initiating into the first outer zone. Absolutely throwing that thing up against the wall, filling that first zone very well. John Corber needs to mimic angle a little bit better as they come out here through the Manji, setting up for outer zone 2. Eric on, oh, Eric spins out. What a save. What a save from both of these guys. Mustang on Mustang action. I think Eric might have just got in his head a little bit there. All right, everybody. I think that is going to determine John Corber takes the win going into the final against Brian Martin. Give these boys a few minutes to get set up, and then we'll send them out here for our final here at round 4 Slideways Showdown presented by Race Lab Industries. All right, everybody, before we can get into our final battle, we have to do the third place battle. We got Cody Lucas and Eric Yeager. You're not done yet, boys. We got to determine who's getting third place here. So if we could have Cody Lucas and Eric Yeager get ready for this third place battle. Put it all out on the track. All right, getting ready for this third place battle. Eric Yeager, you're not done yet, brother. We got one more battle here with Cody Lucas so we can determine who's going to get third place. See Cody Lucas ready. Eric Yeager, you are up, brother. I just want to thank everybody for coming out to attendance today. We have a lot of spectators, a lot of drivers. We just want to thank you for supporting Slideways Showdown for our final event of the year. It means the world to us that everyone's coming out, supporting the drivers, supporting the staff, supporting the track. Eric Yeager, clock is ticking. Tick tock. All right, everybody, getting ready for our third place battle here. Go ahead and send out Cody Lucas. Eric Yeager pulling up to the line now. Another 370Z on SN95 Mustang battle. Seems like we got this battle just seemed to be 370Z versus Mustang. We got 370Z versus Mustang in our final round. Will we have another 370Z or another Mustang on the podium? Only time will tell. All right, we got Cody in the lead. Eric behind him in the chase as they initiate into the first outer zone. Cody a little late to get into that zone, but doing a good job filling it. Eric right behind him as they come through the Manji to set up for outer zone 2. Eric diving in on Cody, closing that gap. Cody doing a great job filling outer zone 2. Eric right there with them as they come through the keyhole, as they come around to set up for our final touch and go here. Cody doing a great job in the lead. Eric not giving him any room at all in that SN95 Mustang. It's a great run from these two guys here. We're going to switch them around now. We're going to put Eric up front and have Cody in the chase. This part of the broadcast is presented by our 370Z cool down lap. Mustang taking advantage. Gonna have Eric up front. Cody in the chase. All right, we got Eric taking off, going into outer zone 1, getting right up on that wall, filling that zone immediately. Cody doing a good job with the proximity as they go through the Manji to set up for outer zone 2. Now this is where Eric made a mistake last time, and he does it excellent. Filling outer zone 2, awesome. Cody right there behind him as they come into the keyhole, and they get ready to transition to set up for our touch and go. Eric doing a great job. Cody needs to close the gap a little bit. Oh, and Eric spinning out again right before the finish line. All right. The judge's decision is in, and taking home third place will be Cody Lucas in the silver 370Z. Congratulations, Cody Lucas, taking home third place. Eric Yeager doing an excellent job fighting for that spot. He came in here with no confidence and came out taking fourth. Great performance from Eric Yeager today. All right, everybody. It is time for our final battle of round 4 here at Slideways Showdown, Paynesville Speedway. This is going to be a great battle to watch. We got Brian Martin leading in points versus John Corber, who is third in points right now in that turbo 2-valve Mustang, excuse me. All right, we're going to have Brian Martin in the chase. Give us just a second here to get the drone set up. All right, Brian Martin versus John Corber in our final battle here, round 4. We got Brian in the lead, going up into outer zone 1, filling the zone very well. John Corber not giving him any room to run away from him as they set up, going into the Manji, coming into outer zone 2. Brian doing a great job filling the zone. We always expect that from Brian. John doing a great job being on his door, filling that zone right behind him as they come in through the keyhole and set up for our last touch and go. Brian doing a good job. Oh, and Brian Martin spinning out right before the finish line, getting set up into the keyhole. That's going to give John Corber a big advantage here in the final round. We're going to switch these boys around, put John in the lead, Brian in the chase. All John needs to do is keep his composure, finish this run out, fill the zones, do what he's got to do. Will we have SN95 victory? We will find out. All right, last battle of round 4. We got John in the lead in the SN95 Mustang. All he has to do is complete this lap, be smooth, consistent. He's coming through. Oh, and Brian just absolutely stuffing it into the rear of John Corber as John, it doesn't even phase him as he continues, fills outer zone 2, comes out through the keyhole. Coming up into our final touch and go. John Corber in the turbo 2-valve Mustang, absolutely ripping it. Amazing performance here from John Corber. Can we please have Cody Lucas out on track, please? Cody Lucas out on track. Announce our winners here for round 4. Also, all drivers that competed today, please meet over by the shed where the whiteboard is, where the layouts are. We are going to give away our prizes for this year. So after we announce who won this round, we need all comp drivers to be over by the whiteboard so that we can present our awards. Thank you. All right, everybody, we have our top 3 out on track right now. Bryce down there with the trophies. And in 3rd place, we got Cody Lucas in the silver 370Z, taking home 3rd place today. And our winner here at round 4, Slideways Showdown, presented by Race Lab Industries. John Corber in the Turbo SN95 Mustang, taking home the win here today. And in second place, of course, nobody other than points leader Brian Martin, taking home second place. Great driving here from everybody today in the competition. Again, wanted to thank all the spectators for coming out, supporting Slideways Showdown. We couldn't be here without you. Again, all comp drivers, please meet over by the whiteboards here in a few minutes so that we can pass out awards for the final point standings. Thank you. Open Drift will also begin after we hand out awards until 6:30. So if you are here for Open Drift, I'd say in about 15 minutes to 30, get ready to get back out on track. Thank you, everybody, once again.